Don't stop me. He think he Holyfield. Iron Mike, 4/5. Let him feel what the iron like. I think I'm Mayweather. Back out. Streaming money in his bank, pulling stacks out. I think I'm Kodo. Shane Mosley. Slow Jeff. Anyone who
Round one, we're going to talk about the Crawford versus Indongo reaction. We're going to break down the fight. So, what did you think about the fight?
Oh, I thought Crawford man looked really easy in there. I mean, he didn't have any trouble at all. It seemed like he was able to do what he wanted to do, and once he knew that he had him hurt, he went straight for the kill. Did the body shot. He knew that the body was where the weakness was, and took him out 3 rounds. It was a perfect display of boxing skill.
So, with Crawford dominating Indongo, what improvements did you see from this fight versus the Felix Diaz and even fights in the past?
Oh, he didn't take long. In the other fights, he was kind of like a slow starter. And this one, it didn't seem like he needed that long to adapt. And once he figured out the timing and the distance, he was able to just step on the gas and just get it over with right away. It felt like the Felix Diaz fight, he went a little bit longer than he should have. It's just he was able to turn it on and just get it over with.
I think Crawford was just better, period. Okay? I believe Indongo was in over his head. I think this win for Crawford does absolutely nothing for his resume. I need to see him in there with a huge name. Like, I think people want to put Crawford on notice already. They want to see him with a big name. And, I mean, I want to see it too. But just some of the highlights out of the fight, Terence Crawford, he timed Indongo well. He started much faster this fight versus fights in his past. Like, it took him at least 5 rounds to figure Felix Diaz out. You know, this fight, he cleaned up his defense. He didn't get hit at all. He took a lot of unnecessary shots in the Felix Diaz fight. You know, so I thought he improved on his defense. Yeah, so he improved on his defense and everything. And I don't know if he improved on his defense or just Indongo just sucked.
Just wasn't that good?
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. So I kind of want to give him credit for his improvement, but we still got to see his next fight just to see.
But he looked great in there against Indongo, and you have to beat your opponent. And he went out there and he just blew him out. And it just looked like the stage was too big for Indongo. He was never in the fight. It's like he was never in the fight at all.
Yeah, I mean, our second show, we kind of broke down and to give our predictions, and I said Indongo was slow and wild. He definitely came out slow and wild. And one thing that I noticed about Indongo is he didn't really close the distance. He was reaching, and by him reaching and lunging with his punches, it left him wide open to be countered, you know? So I just don't think this win does anything for Crawford at all. He looked great. I mean, the fans out there in Nebraska was going crazy. I love the fact that he has hometown support. I mean, that arena out there is 15,000 and he's selling it out. That's pretty good.
Yeah, no. He's they said the second biggest U.S. ticket seller aside from Floyd Mayweather.
I did not know that at all, and that's good. Like,
that's what they said before the fight. So I mean, he definitely could sell in Nebraska,
right?
And they had him fighting in New York already. He's fought in Vegas several times. He's just growing his brand, and I mean, he might be the second most popular U.S. fighter.
Right. I think it has to be urgency behind Crawford because he's young but old. You know what I'm saying? He's 30 years old, So he has about like 5 more years to really do something. About a good 5 more years, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, he's got about 5 years. Be in his prime to be, at the top of his game. He's got about 5 years.
So if he stays at 140, there's only 2 names there. It's Lipinets and Mikey Garcia. I mean, then if you go to 47, you got Thurman, Danny Garcia, Earl Spence, Sean Porter, and you can consider a tune-up fight against like a Lamont Peterson or Jesse Vargas. Like, what don't you want to see?
I don't know. I think he has trouble at making weight at 140. That's what they were saying before the fight, that he was having trouble.
Who's
making
they?
weight.
Who's
ESPN.
But
they said
that speculation is more so, right? That
I think it's at the weigh-in. He still had to lose a couple pounds right before they weighed in. So he was still steaming himself off. That's what they were talking about before the fight. Okay. So they're saying that he might have trouble.
I heard after the fight that Teddy Atlas, he kind of like flirted around with Crawford, saying like, "Oh, like, are you going to move up to 147 because it's hard to make weight?" And Crawford had a poker face, and he said that he can make 140 easy. But if you listen to all the interviews, post fight, he's more so leaning on going up to 147.
Yeah, I think he should move up to 147. I mean, instead of trying to, get down to 140, his body, he's growing. His body's growing, and 147 would be, perfect for him. He won't have to train as hard to lose the weight. He could eat more, what he wants to eat. Kind of like Danny Garcia, when Danny Garcia was staying at 140, and then he slowly would move up to 143 because it was too hard for him to make 140.
I would like to see Crawford fight Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia next. Mikey Garcia said that he can go back down to 135. He can fight at 140 or 147. I mean, perfect scenario if Crawford can get that fight at 147. But Robert Garcia and Mikey Garcia, they're a little smarter than that. They'll try to get him to fight at 140. If they know he's having trouble making weight, they want to like kind of drain him. And
if Pacquiao doesn't get this Jeff Horn fight, Crawford Jeff Horn, he'll get a title. He'll get, and it's a tune-up. He'll be it's a 147 tune-up pretty much, and it's for a title.
All right.
And
if he goes to 147, who would you like to see him face out of these names? Thurman, Danny Garcia, Earl Spence, Sean Porter, Lamont Peterson, Jesse Vargas, and I even heard the Saddam Ali name out there also. Like, what names would you like to see him face?
If he's gonna move up to 147,
yeah. Do you want him just to go face Earl Spence and Thurman right away, or do you want to see him fight?
I wouldn't mind him fighting Thurman right away. I don't know about Spence. I worry more. Yeah, like to me, I think Spence is more skilled than Thurman.
Well, I think Crawford would do better more against Earl Spence, because if you kind of look at the similarities between Earl Spence and Gamboa, they kind of had that come forward.
But Gamboa was getting some rounds in there early, but he was just too small. He was just too small. Okay. And Spence is 147. It's not like Spence is going down. Spence fights at 147. I don't think Thurman looked impressive in his last his last 2 fights. Even the Robert Guerrero fight, he got hit clean time, a couple clean times with Robert Guerrero. So I mean, I don't know. I think the shine's kind of coming off of Keith Thurman. He's not one time anymore.
Right.
He hasn't had a knockout in a few fights, and he only fights 1 time a year now.
Round 2, we're going to talk about Crawford versus Indongo viewership. All right. They average around 965,000, and 87 million homes in the U.S. has ESPN. and they only averaged 965,000. What do you think? Is that a good or a bad thing?
I'm thinking that it was. I mean, it peaked higher than. I mean, they haven't released the peak yet, but it was higher average than the Felix Diaz fight, but only by
like 4,000. Because that was.
No one knew who Indongo was, and Indongo was undefeated, but he didn't have any really no name clout.
So you're saying for Crawford just to carry that was pretty good?
Yeah, and that's pretty much Crawford bringing it in. And it wasn't like he disappointed, so people will be on the lookout for him again.
Yeah, so I mean, that's going north of his last fight, so he's improving. They're going to have to do a better job because he should be around 1.5. I mean, this is free TV.
I mean, it might have peaked at 1.5, 1.3, 1.2.
What exactly does that mean when they say average versus peak?
Average means it's the average amount of viewership they had through the whole telecast. So maybe at the beginning of the telecast, only 700,000 people were watching, and then it peaked all the way up. Peak would be the highest amount of people were watching at one time.
So for like the main event, it got to around 2.1 mil.
It could go up to 1 point. His last fight peaked at 1.1
or something like that.
Yeah, like 1.1. So that means that 1.1 million people watched it at the highest point, but on the average, there was always about 900,000 people there.
Right.
So 965,000, and then we'll see what the peak is, and also what it streamed, because I didn't get to watch the fight live. I didn't get to watch the fight on TV. I had to stream it because I wasn't home. So I mean, the stream views count too.
Right.
And the Lomachenko fight.
So you think they're still trying to tally up the numbers?
So they can still tally up the numbers. And streams are going to count in there also because, I mean, that's one thing HBO doesn't have. HBO doesn't have a live stream. So if you're watching the HBO fight, you have to watch it on the TV.
Well,
so that's one other thing that ESPN
talked about HBO, right? When Crawford fought Felix Diaz, his last fight, that was on HBO, and that did 961,000. So 87 million are subscribed to ESPN, but HBO has 55 million
less.
Has 55 million less than ESPN.
But we still gotta wait for the streams numbers to come out, and also the one other thing that you don't really take into account, or what people don't take into account, is how many bars or restaurants had the fight on, because it was on ESPN, and ESPN is usually a channel that's on at every bar, no matter what. They leave it on because they don't
those
change
numbers off.
So they don't leave those numbers off. Those numbers are counted, but you don't count for how many people. So there could be 40, 50 people inside the bar watching that fight. I mean, it's only counted as one view.
I mean, they surpassed my expectations. I thought I was going to do around 500,000, and I was off by
500,000.
Good chunk, you know. So
I mean, we got to see what it peaks at. I mean, because I know it could peak at 1.2, and then with streams on top of that, because I mean, the Lomachenko fight with streams, it did strong numbers.
Right.
So we just got to wait and see what the final numbers come out to be.
Round 3. Now that we've seen Crawford, Lomachenko, and Mikey Garcia, who had the better performance?
I would say the best performance was Terrence Crawford, because how easy he made it look.
Okay.
Then Mikey Garcia, because of who he beat. And I mean, and Mikey Garcia looked good too, but it did go to a decision. He didn't stop him, but he was in control pretty much the whole fight. He got hit with a couple punches that were kind of big punches, but I mean, he was able to walk through them. And then Lomachenko went in there and he toyed around, but he should have got that guy out of there. Murriaga shouldn't have been in there that long with them.
That was like a 7th round stoppage, right?
Yeah. And he was toying around with them, but I mean, he should have been able to take him out a lot quicker, a lot sooner than he did. Yeah,
I mean, to me, like Crawford, he outclassed Indongo. He did what he was supposed to do. He didn't get hit. Loma, he just made Murriaga look foolish. Toy with them, but he did get a little bruised up. His face didn't look too well after the fight. Mikey Garcia, man, this was supposed to be a 50-50 fight, but clearly it was one-sided once we start watching it. So if I have to pick the best performance, I'm going to go with Mikey Garcia because it was 50-50 going in. Like, everybody didn't know. Everybody's like, I'm going to give Mikey the edge, but man, Broner's looking really good. And then Broner started to win over, and the bet odds started to work in Broner's favor because everybody was seeing Broner train hard. He was physically in shape, but he just didn't show up. The reason why I wouldn't give Crawford the better performance because I thought Indongo was who I thought he was. He wasn't shit. He didn't need to be in the ring with Crawford. The only reason why he was in the ring with Crawford because he had two of the belts by mistake.
They weren't by mistake. He went out and won them. He went out and won them.
No.
If you win it, it's not by mistake.
He knocked out.
He beat Ricky Burns.
Yeah, and
then he knocked out.
So he knocked out Trinowski, I think, was just a lucky punch. I mean, look, check this out, man. Check this reference. All right. When we watch March Madness, it's always like a UC Riverside. They'll beat a D1, like, let's say, like, they'll knock off like a mediocre UCLA and they'll be like Arizona. But then once you get into that Elite 8, Final 4, then
But they still made it there, though. You know, they still beat the teams that they still had to compete with the other teams.
No, Crawford's the powerhouse.
Yeah, but it's not like they just lucked up into it. They had to win the fights, and they won them. And it wasn't like it was controversial. They went out and beat Ricky Burns, and he knocked out Trinowski.
Yeah, but Ricky Burns isn't the name that everybody's looking for. He already had like 4 or 5 losses when that. So nobody's looking for that.
He had losses. He already lost to Crawford, but he was the champ. And that's the problem with having too many belts. And that's the problem with having 4 belts in the division and then the ring title on top of that. There should be just one unified belt, and that's it.
Like
one
like
champ.
UFC.
One champ. Like not WBA, WBC, IBO. I mean, it confuses the fans. You have to tell somebody.
I think it looks good if you're a boxer and those are in your trophy case.
Yeah, if you're a boxer, but think of a new fans that are coming into this. There's 4 different belts, and you go, well, he has a belt, but he's not really the best. This other guy's the best, but he doesn't have a belt because he's, when Floyd wouldn't fight, he would fight everybody, but he didn't want to take the belt when he fought Mosley, but it was a non-title fight. It's like, no, Floyd's the best. He's the best in here, but he doesn't have any of the belts. These other guys have the belts, and try explaining that to somebody. How too many belts, it kind of just messes up everything. It blurs everything.
All right. And Loma, I can't give him the better performance because Mariaga he wasn't in like the class of a Loma. He was clearly mismatched, and like I agree with you, Loma should have took his ass out like in the 4th, 5th round. He had no business being in the ring 7 rounds or longer,
Loma was playing around at some point, but I think he was just playing around to give him a show because he couldn't stop him.
All right, so Mikey had a better performance to me. And who are you going with?
I'm going with Crawford just because Crawford made it look easier easier in a championship fight to make it look that easy. It's not like this guy didn't have any belts.
All right, quick. How would you rank Crawford, Loma, and Mikey 1, 2, 3 in order?
Over their body of work, it'd be Crawford, Mikey, Loma.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to go with Crawford, Mikey, then Loma, 1, 2, and 3. I mean, all 3 are very, very talented, but I like to see all that play out someday.
Yeah, one day they might catch each other somewhere.
My name is Floyd. My name is Money Mayweather.
All right. Here we go. We about to break down this freak show, this sideshow, this damn event.
What the world has been waiting for.
Mayweather versus Conor Notorious McGregor. Our predictions on the fight and pay-per-view predictions. So, the fight is like 4 days away.
4 days away, Saturday.
So who you going with?
Oh man, shocking the world. Going with the upset. No, I mean nobody thinks it's possible, but Mayweather with the knockout, 5th round, body shot. I think he gets him to a body. It kind of similar to the Crawford and Indongo kind of body shot ending. It's something like that, you know.
You want to know something? Because like when you were over here giving us a teaser, saying I'm going with the upset, because I was thinking like 2 days ago, I'm like, man, the biggest upset, if you want to give out all the factors, Floyd boxed him and winning a 12-round unanimous decision. Okay, then the next possibility is Conor knocking out Floyd. That like people would be expecting that, but nobody will be expecting Mayweather to knock out McGregor. And then I guess like the second upset would be if McGregor just outboxed and screwed Floyd for 12 rounds and got the decision. I mean, that would be shocking too.
If he was able to outbox Floyd, I mean, that would be that'd be a sad day in boxing. I wouldn't know what to do. Like if he was just out there, just was able to come up off this. Pretty much, it's pretty much coming off the streets. I mean, yeah, he has the MMA background, but if he was able to outbox him,
all right. I'm going with the 8th round TKO Floyd Mayweather stoppage. I think he just gonna
accumulation of punches.
I could be because McGregor is just gonna gas out. And he's not going to know how to defend himself. And Floyd's just going to tag the body. He's just going to move around.
It's just going to be straight. I think it's that straight to the solar plexus that he always lands that. And he always goes for that. And it's just like right down the middle.
Do you see Mayweather getting caught at all? Like, let's say the first 2-3 rounds. You think it's going to be difficult for Floyd?
I keep going back and forth with it. I keep thinking, like, you know, he might come in there and try to like rush Floyd, but I don't think it's gonna happen. I think it might be, you know, what really changed my mind is just looking at like the Kovalev Ward fight.
Okay.
The second time. Like you think Kovalev's gonna come in there and just start like, you know, just wailing on Ward, and Ward just gave him so many angles, and yeah, he was throwing a lot of punches, but he was never really able to land anything in that second fight that was, you know, could change the whole fight, and then he kind of just gassed out. And then,
so are you concerned at all when Floyd say that he's going to press the issue, he's going to take the fight to McGregor? Does that worry you at all?
Nah, I think it's just all talk.
It's all talk.
I think it's all
he's
talk.
Going to get in there.
I think you don't change your game in the 9th inning. You know, right. You don't change it in the 9th inning. It's the end, you know, it's the end of his career. He's not going to change it.
What if Floyd did that? Because I see one of my favorite Floyd moments is when Floyd backed down Cotto. Floyd, if you remember watching the Cotto fight and Mayweather fight, Mayweather was backing Cotto down, and Cotto's a huge puncher.
Yeah, but eventually he'll walk him down. I think eventually, but I don't think he'll start off the fight trying to walk him down. Mm-hmm. I think he'll just give him distance, give him angles, kind of like how. You know, and also this fight kind of would remind me of his Victor Ortiz and Floyd, because Victor Ortiz came in very aggressive with Floyd, and the first 4 rounds were I mean, they weren't that close, but they you know, he was going in there giving him pressure, so a lot of people thought it was closer than what it was, and Floyd started hitting him with clean punches and started really frustrating Ortiz, because Ortiz was in there close and trying to exchange them, and he couldn't hit him.
All right. These 8-ounce gloves, does it matter? Does it benefit Floyd or does it benefit McGregor more? Like,
I think it benefits Floyd.
Floyd?
Floyd. I mean, Floyd's been fighting 8-ounce gloves for pretty much 47 of his fights.
I think it benefits Floyd a lot because he's been fighting 8-ounce gloves for a long time. Plus, if Floyd thought he was at a disadvantage, he wouldn't push so hard to get these damn 8-ounce gloves. Think about it. Because Floyd, he's a prima donna. He wants everything his way. And if he thought it was a huge advantage for McGregor, he would have just stuck with the 10-ounce gloves.
And plus sports science. They already did like the PSI on boxing gloves versus MMA gloves. And there was like such a subtle difference that you can't even tell the difference. Pretty much. That's how much, how subtle the difference was. And they did this a couple years back. I mean, it doesn't matter. Floyd's going to be hitting with the clean punches. And I just don't see it making that big of a difference. I just see McGregor going to go in there and get punished. And just hopefully Floyd doesn't leave him in there longer than he should. He just makes it real quick and shows him that this guy shouldn't even be in the same ring as him.
All right, so let's talk about these pay-per-view numbers. Does it top the fight of the century, Mayweather versus Pacquiao? They did 4.6 million pay-per-view buys. What's your prediction?
I don't know. Judged off of ticket sales, I'm not sure. I mean, it's having a rough time selling tickets. I'm seeing, it kind of makes me think that people weren't buying into it as much as the media is, making you believe.
I mean, I really don't know because, like, going to the fight is like buying, like, Balmains and, like, Gucci and Louis Vuitton. And then you have, like, the pay-per-view numbers, right? You have the actual people that like to stay home and pay $100. A lot of people can fork over $100.
Yeah, but you want to be there at this event.
You want to be there, but how many people can afford to be there? You see these ticket prices?
Yeah, no.
You see these ticket prices?
Ticket prices are crazy, but the Pacquiao and Mayweather ticket prices were just as crazy.
I think it's going to beat the 4.6 million buys. But slightly.
I think it's going to be right around 3.9. 3.94
look, I'm going to give it 5.2 million buys.
I'm going to go right around about 3.94 mil. I think streaming, Facebook Live, Instagram Live, I think people are going to try to find other ways to see it. There's a lot of boxing fans that are not talking about it, and then we forget about the biggest fight that's happening that night, Cotto versus Kamagai.
What?
the real fight. Real fight.
No. Man, you want to know something? I'm gonna watch that fight Sunday morning when I wake up.
Yeah,
I'm gonna record that shit and I'm gonna watch it Sunday morning.
Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of.
That's how much I'm looking for it.
They picked a really bad day to have that fight.
Yeah, I mean the best thing that can happen if Kamagai knocked out Cotto, that can bring a lot of attention.
But even if he knocked him out, I mean, really, you're going to hear anything about it on SportsCenter? It's all going to be about the Mayweather fight.
They'll put out the ticker at the bottom.
It'll be the ticker at the bottom, but they ain't going to show any highlights from it, probably.
No, it's going to be so dominated by the Maymac bullcrap, Round 5. Do you think Maymac is overshadowing Triple G versus Canelo?
I don't think it's overshadowing. You know what's overshadowing is Cotto Kamagai. I'm still upset about that, But the Triple G Canelo fight is going to be. I think it's going to be fine. I mean, it's so far. It's still 3 weeks after.
Do you know what overshadowing mean?
Yeah,
Maymac is clearly overshadowing Triple G versus Canelo.
I think it's overshadowing for the casuals, but not for actual boxing fans.
Meaning that fans. Far as the press, we can go to all the stations and channels, cable, satellite, in YouTube.
But that's all.
And
That's all casuals, though. That's a casual. The media. It's a casual.
but it's still being overshadowed. It's still being overshadowed.
But by boxing
still,
fans, I don't think
it's
so.
still being overshadowed.
I think by boxing fans, it's not.
Go to ESPN, FS1. What are they talking about?
They're capturing the casual fans, but I'm talking about actual boxing.
Casuals matter.
They're waiting. They're waiting for the. They're
hoping
fight.
for the casuals. They're hoping for that. That's going to make it 6, 7, 8, 9 million pay-per-view buys.
Well, they're never going to get that 9 million pay-per-view buys.
But that's something that.
But
that's something that they're hoping for
actual boxing fans and for people that are looking for the fight. It's not overshadowing. They're still talking about, because I still hear Marcellus on First Take, or not on First Take, on Sports Nation. They're talking about the Triple G Canelo fight. I hear it on the radio in the morning.
How often? Okay, let's do a ratio.
Let's do a ratio. 3 weeks out, though.
Let's do a ratio. So we go to a damn bar and it's one girl for every 10 dudes. We're not going to be like, oh, damn, it's a lot of girls in here. We're like, God damn, it's loaded with fucking dick in here. Like, what the fuck is going on? So, look at the ratio. For every time we see footage or advertisements about Triple G versus Canelo, we see 7 times more, if not more, on Mayweather versus McGregor. It's being overshadowed.
But that's because the fight is coming up. If it was switched around and that Canelo Triple G fight was closer, I think that
I don't think so.
But they're not talking either. They're not really doing any big talking.
And that's why it's being overshadowed. Okay, we got Canelo. He's posting a little more than Triple G. Triple G is being like a groundhog when it comes to this fight. He's not posting much. He just flying under the radar. And with the Mayweather McGregor, we got everything, man. We got drama. We got sparring partner drama. We got flashiness. It's a whole lot more to it, man. And then we have the goddamn, just the spectacle of it. Like, people and the suspense. The suspense is getting people like, oh, Floyd is 40 years old. He's been retired for almost 2 years. And then McGregor is younger. And Shay,
I could say this. I could say Canelo Triple G sold out. Mayweather McGregor's still trying to sell the tickets.
Okay, but if you put in gate and paper, I'll guarantee you. Let's say if Mayweather and McGregor don't sell out, you combine that with the pay-per-view buys, and then you tally up pay-per-view and gate for the Triple G Canelo, and I guarantee you it dominates.
Yeah, but that's because the MMA people are buying into that.
It don't matter.
Yeah, with
it don't matter.
The MMA people,
it don't matter.
That builds the spectacle.
That's part of it, though. That's part of it. I'm saying the question was: is Mac overshadowing
just with casuals?
Triple G?
But not with boxing
casuals
fans.
matter. They matter.
But not with
they
boxing
matter
fans.
in this.
But not
in
with
this
boxing
particular event, it matters.
But the casual fans, yes. But with true boxing fans, it's not overshadowing. That's the fight they're waiting for. That's the big fight.
All right, we're going round 6. Triple G is looking mighty soft for his 30-day weigh-in for the WBC. He weighed in at 170. You seen those pics?
Yeah, seen those pics.
So what do you think?
I think he still has enough time. It's still 30 days out. I think he's looking all right. And as we get closer to the fight, that body's still gonna be tightened up. And and then it's fine. I think it's just business as usual. I think he looks almost the same as he looked for his other fights.
Yeah, like his versus Jacobs, 30 days out, he was at 6.5.1 versus Kell Brook. He was 165. It's not that big of a difference, 5 pounds, but he does look a little chunky and soft. So, do you think that's going to be a factor at all? Like, is it an indication that he's not training as hard?
No, I don't think it's going to be a factor. I'm sure he's training just as hard. I mean, it's the biggest fight of his career, and I know he knows how important this fight is.
I've been on Canelo's Instagram page heavy, and this dude is ripped up. He hasn't been out of shape for a while. Like, Canelo, he's just staying in shape, and you can tell he's training hard. I don't think Triple G is just sitting back eating pancakes all day. I'm pretty sure he's working hard too. I'm not really gonna just put too much into the 30-day weigh-in. I'm pretty sure he's gonna be ready.
Yeah, he's 170 right now. He got 4 weeks to lose the pounds.
Yeah.
It's not like he's McGregor, who's supposed to be 164. That's what Floyd said today. That he heard that McGregor's 164.
He heard that?
That's what he says at 164.
Jesus Christ.
Trying to lose 10 pounds, and he said that this was on TMZ Sports, so it's very credible. He said that if he comes in overweight, they're still going to have the fight. He's just going to have to pay him.
Of course.
He's still going to have to pay him. But I'm like, 150. I said 154 is going to look like Canelo and Chavez Jr. If he's trying to lose all that weight, 10 pounds in a week, 160. He's going to come in. That fight's going to look horrible. It's going to be even worse than what we think is going to be. But 30 days out, I don't think there's going to be any problem with him making weight. And he's going to go in there and handle his business. I know he knows the importance of this fight.
Round 7, we're going to talk about Errol Spence. Last week, he made an IG post, and it said, no fight date, but staying busy. So, with that said, who would you like to see Errol Spence face next?
Oh, he took care of Kell Brook in the last fight. He looked good in his last fight, and he just keeps looking better and better. He's the goods. He's looking good.
So you believe the hype?
I've been a believer of the hype, man.
Right.
He's Texas's own. I think his next fight. I want him to go after Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman's talking about taking another tune-up fight when he comes back from the injury.
I think Keith Thurman is entitled to a warm-up fight.
He's a champ.
He got to make sure he's all good.
Drop the belts.
No.
Drop the belts.
He had surgery. It's no BS.
Drop the belts then.
No, dude. You got to give him at least one tune-up.
Drop the belts. You're the champ. You don't need tune-ups anymore. Who's he going to tune up?
After surgery?
Who's he going to tune up? Drop the belts then. Stop holding the belts hostage.
Man, whatever.
Stop holding the belts hostage. Let Spence go in there and fight Danny Garcia again for the belt, or Sean Porter for the belt. Stop holding the belts hostage. If you want to go have tune-ups, you can have your tune-ups, and then you could get a title fight when you're ready.
That it is a legitimate reason, though. Like they do consider that. That's just like how they didn't force Kell Brook to give up his belt with his eye. They allowed him to heal.
But they allowed him because he went up and fought Golovkin, and they gave him the pass because he went up and he had a fight for a title. Because IBF title was there.
Who do you want to see?
But I really want to see him fight Thurman.
Thurman? Give me a list. That's it.
Thurman is the one that I really want to see him fight, but he'd go in there and he could fight Garcia or Porter or any of the big names out there. Peterson. It doesn't matter. He could take on anybody.
All right. For me, I would love him to face Keith Thurman next, but I don't think it's possible. So, next, I would love to see Errol Spence face like a Danny Garcia. That'd be pretty good. And for entertainment value, I know it's a big name, and I just know it'll be a fan-friendly fight. Just imagine we have Errol Spence fight Lucas Matisse. Tell me that wouldn't be a beautiful fight to watch. Just tell me, imagine that.
I would probably have him face Andre Berto. I think that'd probably be a more exciting fight.
Versus
Andre Berto can make some exciting fights. Andre Berto makes it exciting. Even the Sean Porter fight, with all the coming in head first and cracking heads,
Errol Spence and Omar Figueroa.
That could be a good one. Jesse Vargas.
I'm going.
Good.
I'm not like if I can't match up Errol Spence with a Keith Thurman, I'm pretty sure Errol Spence would love to face the winner of the Jeff Horn and Manny Pacquiao fight if it does happen. But if I can't get those, I'm going for my own selfish reasons, and I just want to see some punches because Spence don't have the tightest defense. So Omar Figueroa and Matisse, they can get off on him for the first handful of rounds, you know? And it's going to be action-packed for however many rounds it lasts. Omar Figueroa and Spence, Omar Figueroa. I mean...
that's a good fight, but I mean, Omar Figueroa, I don't think he's that great. He didn't look, he looked good. He beat Guerrero in his last fight, but that body was not looking.
Would you like to see him against?
I think he needs to get another 147 fight in there.
Would you like to see Errol Spence versus Lamont Peterson or Jesse Vargas?
Yeah, those fights seem like some solid fights. Lamont Peterson has some skill in there, and Jesse Vargas too. Jesse Vargas is looking good. He got that knockout power all of a sudden. Not being Saddam Ali, knocking him out, hurting Bradley, almost knocking Bradley out. That knockout power came out of nowhere, and it'd be a good challenge. I don't think Jesse Vargas. I don't think he's had a chance to win that fight.
Where's Jesse Vargas been?
Yeah, I don't know. He's in hiding right now. But
he's not in hiding because he's interviewing all over the place. I see him interviewing everywhere.
Just doesn't fight anymore. He was on that Mikey Garcia tip where Mikey Garcia just wasn't fighting for the longest time. So I think that Errol Spence has plenty of names out there for him. Heck, maybe he could get Floyd to try to go 51-0.
Well, on Crawford's media day versus Indongo, Crawford said that he would favor Keith Thurman to beat Errol Spence. Who wins that if it does happen?
Earl. To me, I think Earl.
How do you see that? How do you see it playing out?
I don't think anybody at 147 can beat Earl.
How do you see it playing out?
I think Earl he outboxes Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman.
No. Did you just say you said Errol Spence can outbox Keith? No, that would no.
I think he will outbox Keith Thurman.
No.
I think he will.
If Earl wins, Errol Spence wins is by being a dog, just going to that body, hunting him down. We all know that Keith Thurman, he don't like them body shots.
No, he doesn't like the body shots.
And the better boxer of the two is Thurman. So I don't think Earl can outbox Thurman. I'm not saying Earl can't win, but it won't be by outboxing him.
I think he'll outbox him and box him.
That's not what he does. That's not what he does.
He stayed on the outside with Brooke, and he
didn't.
He was hitting Brooke from a distance too. I think he could keep the distance and he will beat Thurman.
Round 8, we're going to talk about Pacquiao versus the Jeff Horn rematch. So that fight is getting close to being signed, sealed, and delivered. They're saying that it should happen November back in Australia. Freddie Rhodes said that he wants to pick the sparring partner for Manny. He said that last fight, Manny was sparring with guys that was 130 pounds. And Jeff Horn was 170 pounds on the night of the fight. So they think that they didn't really prepare that well for his power and his strength. And Bob Arum, he wants neutral judges this time around, to even the playing field because he thinks he was robbed of a decision. How do you feel about this rematch, and is this something that you want to see?
After watching the first one, I don't want to see this one again, but we have to see it because that's the only way Pacquiao is going to be able to get his title back. I think Pacquiao clearly won the first fight. The judging was horrible, and then you hear about it on Twitter. Everybody's ripping the judges. Boxing sucks. This is why we don't watch boxing. So neutral judges would be good. And, we have to see this fight. Hopefully it's not Pacquiao's last fight. He could get another fight after this. But, I don't think the sparring partners were the problem. Pacquiao went in there and he was landing the punches and he was turning it on late in the fight. And I think he won the fight convincingly. I mean, I don't think it was close. I mean, everybody that watched over there, I mean, Teddy Atlas was going nuts, the only person that...
And Bradley was going nuts.
Everybody was going. Stephen A. Smith almost had an aneurysm on TV, It was just... Everybody seemed Pacquiao.
But there was a lot of people supporting Jeff Horn, too. You can't say it wasn't.
No, there was... But I mean, there was the majority of people that saw the fight, that watched it on ESPN, were on Twitter, were saying that, Pacquiao won the fight. I seen it and I knew Pacquiao won the fight, but it just like the same thing happened with him when he fought Bradley the first time. I mean, it looked like Pacquiao clearly won the fight, and then you go to the cards and it's a completely different story. So I think that's why Bradley wasn't too upset either, because, he's seen it before and he couldn't really go, crazy about it. So I hope Pacquiao, gets this fight again and he rights this wrong again, and it's not his last fight.
All right, when the first fight was made, I was shitting on this fight so hard. I'm like, why the hell is Pacquiao fighting Jeff Horn? Who the hell is Jeff Horn? But with the rematch, I kind of want to see this more, because the first fight was that entertaining. It was entertaining. I sat and I watched it, and it was a bloody fight. Both fighters were getting hit. One thing that I'm kind of like weary about, Pacquiao defense looked horrible. Why was he getting hit that much?
Yeah, and if you want to build up your stars on Top Rank, you saw that Pacquiao Horn did 3.1 million average on ESPN. Throw Crawford underneath that fight against a 147 step up. If you're gonna just have him go in there just to get his name out there,
you think Crawford would go in as a undercard? I mean, some people just got too much pride for that. I wouldn't. That you can build them other ways, man.
Yeah, but you want the quick road, so that way. Look, if in the future it's going to be Pacquiao Crawford,
well, they should have been putting Crawford on Manny Pacquiao undercards years ago.
It's too late now. It's too late now, and we can only go about moving forward. If you want to build up the Pacquiao Crawford fight, if it's going to be, you're not even on ESPN, maybe ESPN pay-per-view. Maybe they start doing pay-per-views. But for this ESPN telecast, if Pacquiao's going to fight Horn again, and you want to build up that Crawford fight, just like when Bernard was going to fight De La Hoya, and they had Bernard on the undercard and then De La Hoya was the main event. I mean, Crawford maybe swallowed that pride just to get up there, because all this is going to get your name out there. And it's a 147 fight, and you just go in there and you throw somebody in there, a good contender at 147, Sam Eggington, whoever it is, and
the boxing community knows of Crawford.
Yeah, but the eyes the casual eyes that go on because it's just a Pacquiao card.
A lot of casuals. I go to fight parties all the time, and they out there smoking and drinking, and then when they hear the national anthem, then they come in. Yeah. So he can still potentially not be seen.
But they still have to market it like Crawford's going to be on this.
People don't even show up to your house until 8:30, 9 o'clock.
But that Pacquiao Horn first card averaged 3.1 million, and who was on the undercard? Mike Conley. Who was on the undercard? There was nobody on that undercard of any real name clout, and it still got 3.1 million throughout the whole show. So that'll be more than what Crawford's last fight.
There has to be better ways than to make him on an undercard. I don't think Crawford would do it. And I don't think he should do it. He's bigger. He's better than that. He's the pound for pound number one. I'll take him over Andre Ward. I just think Crawford's better.
And he could be better, but he still has to have that fight against that big name to cross over. Like Mayweather. Mayweather needed that fight with De La Hoya to build up who he was. He needed that name.
But it don't matter.
Who put Pacquiao over? Who put Pacquiao over? De La Hoya. They need that name. You need that name still. It's very hard for a boxer to come up without having that name to cross him over.
All right. So Freddie Rhodes said that if Manny Pacquiao is victorious against Jeff Horn in the rematch, he would like Manny to face Mikey Garcia. Why don't he call out Crawford, Earl Spence, or Thurman?
Because Manny has that name. That's the reason why. Manny's
No. Freddie Roach said that he wanted to see Freddie Roach want to see Manny face Mikey Garcia. Why don't Freddie Roach want to see Manny versus Crawford, Earl, or Thurman?
No, because Mikey Garcia has some kind of a buzz growing, and he's a smaller guy.
Crawford, Earl, and Thurman,
they're more of a threat.
Their buzz is bigger.
No, but
their buzz is bigger.
No, but Garcia has enough buzz though. Enough buzz, and he's a smaller guy. So he's
kind of cherry picking a little.
It's kind of like, we might have
being safe.
We have the best.
We have a better chance to beat Mikey Garcia
than beating these other guys. These guys
and it could be a decent payday.
Yeah, and he still has a name, and he's he doesn't pose as much of a threat.
All you gotta do, if that's true, Manny Pacquiao and Mikey Garcia at the Staples Center, that would be huge.
Yeah, that'd be huge.
That'd be huge.
That'd be huge there. Or if we get, even in Vegas, as long as Pacquiao's fighting in the States,
right?
And it's.
I kind of want to know why they want to face somebody coming up when you have some young killers sitting there waiting.
It's because it's the most. The best man you could get with the least amount of risk.
Right.
So I think they seen that Garcia didn't have enough power to stop Broner, so his power might not be coming up. And if he tries to go up to 147, that's even less power that's going to be moving up with him. So that's the reason why I think that they're gunning for him instead of all the other dogs at 147.
Round 9, Lomachenko could fight Guillermo Rigondeaux December 9th or 23rd. Bob Arum stated that he reached out to Rock Nation, and Rigo has agreed to move up to 130. And also, Bob Arum was talking some numbers. He said Rigo is entitled to a big purse, just not a crazy purse that isn't Christmas. So are you looking forward to this fight?
Yeah, this is a huge fight. Christmas is going to come a couple weeks early.
Are you excited?
This year. I'm excited these two finally are getting in the ring. 130.
It's not official.
It's not official, but it's close to it. And usually when there's smoke, there's fire, and there's a lot of smoke coming through that camp.
As long as they don't try to lowball.
Yeah, as long as they don't do anything ridiculous. And I think Bob Arum, he's trying to get this ESPN deal to extend it even longer.
Right.
And he have to get names in there that people want to see. And this fight right here is a huge fight. And Rigondeaux, I don't think he has any love for Bob Arum either, because Bob Arum said that Rigondeaux, when he was under top rank, when he was under top rank, he would talk bad about him. Said this, we don't want this on TV.
He puts people to sleep.
Yeah, So I think Rigondeaux wants this fight. Lomachenko wants this fight. I think it's going to be a huge for boxing.
Both parties definitely want the fight. I really believe both camps, they want the fight to happen. I'm not going to get too excited yet. Until it's signed and it's delivered, I do want to see it. I think a lot of boxing fans want to see it, so I hope they can make this happen. Who'd you give the edge to, right now?
I'd give it to Lomachenko because Rigondeaux is going to have to come up to 130.
Right.
Lomachenko's already fought at 130. He's used to the weight, used to the power. I'll give it to Loma. But
skill for skill, they're pretty close.
Yeah, they're pretty close. But I've seen, Yeah, you've seen, Lomachenko's been beat by Salido.
Right.
But, second fight, there's a lot of factors in there. But I've seen Rigondeaux get dropped. He's been dropped in the ring.
Yeah, but he gets up.
But he's been dropped.
He gets up.
But he's been dropped though.
But he gets up.
That hasn't happened to Loma.
How many losses does Rigondeaux have?
Rigondeaux doesn't have any losses.
Okay, so it don't fucking matter.
Yeah, it does matter. It does.
It
that
don't.
means he could get hit. And that means that he could get hit.
Anthony Joshua gets up.
Yeah.
Hey, sometimes champs...
It's going to catch you, though.
Sometimes
it's going to catch you.
Don't matter. Sometimes champs, they get up
catch you,
and they fucking finish the job.
But still getting hit like that is going to catch you. It's going to catch up with you.
Lomachenko doesn't possess that much power, so he ain't knocking nobody out like that.
Yeah, but Rigondeaux got knocked down by somebody that wasn't possessing that much power.
Flash knockdown?
He got dropped, and he got dropped twice in that fight.
Flash knockdowns happen.
But he got dropped twice in that fight.
It happens.
And so
I wanna worry about that column on the right hand side. It has a 0 there, so it don't matter. It don't matter.
It does matter. It does matter. Coming down, that wasn't his best performance, and it looks like he can get touched up against not the greatest of polished boxers, and going in there against Lomachenko, it's going to be a different story, and I think Lomachenko's going to beat them because was it Amagasa? Amagasa is coming off of 5 losses, and he was able to drop them twice. He was able to catch them. It kind of knocks some of that polish off of Rigondeaux for me. All right, Fight fans, that's the end of the show. Hope you guys enjoyed. We'll be back next week after the huge Mayweather-McGregor fight. With the reaction, what happens, did the spectacle live up to the hype? And don't forget to subscribe to us. And
my name is Floyd. My name is Floyd. My name is Money Mayweather. My name is Floyd. My name is Floyd. My name is Money Mayweather.